Yeah, it is another episode of the Autumn Windbags. RJ, Clifford, Juan Soto. Let's have some fun today. 10 motherfucking days away.
I told you guys it's going to go by fast. As soon as you start counting the days, it's going to go by really, really fast.
I was thinking about this morning. It was my daughter's first day of kindergarten, and I was likening it to like summer. It's like, man, she's kindergarten already, growing up so fast. And you're like, oh shit, it's 10 days until kickoff, till Raiders opening day.
That's more important. I don't know what you're talking about.
Waiting for the NFL season is exactly like parenting. There's like a term that they use. They say the nights are long, but the days are fast. You're like, oh, that's very poetic. That's waiting for football season. You're like,
sounds pretty gay to me.
Pretty gay, yeah. It's technically that like weird bye week, you know, before preseason and regular
week
season.
Zero, they call it week 0.
But dude, week 1 of college. Did you see the Saturday's lineup? The 3 big. There's 3 top 10 matchups.
Massive games,
dude. Like it's. I mean, I didn't watch college football in 1912, but I can't imagine a better week 1 ever in college football.
Pretty high powered. A lot of Sunday players in these games. For sure.
That's why I got my Bruins hat on because it's.
Well, yeah, who's UCLA playing in one of those? Oh, they're not in the top. Oh, they're in the top 10.
They got a prime time. Never
mind. Never mind.
What's SC ranked?
I don't know. I didn't even look. I don't even know who we're playing. We're playing like Slapdick State or something like that.
Of course you are. Of course SC is. UCLA has a primetime game against Utah. You got a Big Ten game out of the gate because UCLA doesn't fuck around. But we're not here to talk about the Bruins. Maybe we will later. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you your 2025 Las Vegas Raiders 53-man roster. Oh, I should have done a cool sound effect there. Hold on, let me try it again.
That's all right, RJ. You fucked.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2025 Raiders 53-man roster. Yay.
Maybe you heard it. I didn't hear anything.
Yay. You didn't hear anything? God damn it.
I should just let it go.
Technical glitches. Hold on, guys. Let me do it again. We can just go room by room. Hold on. Let me do it again. I'll make it sound better. Weird silence.
Oh,
do you not get any sound? Wait.
I didn't hear anything. It may have gone through on your end in the recording end, but I didn't hear a thing.
Okay.
I know what you played is that kind of jokingly funny applause.
Yeah, didn't happen.
That's probably what you played, but
maybe it's set to wife mode where she knows she's talking, but you just blank it out. I gotta check my settings. I gotta check my settings. Well, sound effects or not, we got our setup. Let's just go room by room as we go along, starting with quarterback. When I very first clicked on this, I'm like, this makes no sense. Aidan O'Connell, Ashton, Dylan, Labe. Oh wait, alphabetical order. That's what it is. Alphabetical order. I was thinking like, I was looking at it, I thought it was a depth chart. I was like, no, it's alphabetical order. So obviously the shocker here is Aidan O'Connell still on the roster despite broken wrist. Geno Smith, Kenny Pickett, Aidan O'Connell. There's got to be some sort of trick up the sleeve of Spytek and company to have him still be on here when you traded a 5th round pick. We'll get to Kenny Pickett here a little later. A 5th round pick for your backup. And you drafted Cam Miller, who will be on the practice squad. We'll get to him later. And O'Connell's on there. The only thing I can think of is they still think they can get maybe something in trade value because I can't imagine Kenny Pickett getting all these reps all the rest of the season, 6 to 8 weeks, and then O'Connell coming in fresh off an injury and supplanting Kenny Pickett. Like, again, if Pickett was just scrap heap league minimum, maybe I can see it. But if you're trading a 5th round pick, Soto, you're like, okay, that is our QB2
for sure. And I don't think that anyone can argue that Aidan O'Connell is better than Kenny Pickett. Anyone who really sees and watches football and can look at things objectively. There's a reason why Kenny Pickett was a 1st round pick and Aidan O'Connell was I think one of the last picks of the 4th round.
Mm-hmm.
He just has better tools. He's 15-10 as a starter. Yes, he's played on some better teams and stuff, but as far as backups go, Kenny Pickett does fit the Chip Kelly offense a little bit better. And he's playing some higher pressure games. I mean, John Spytek said it. Kenny Pickett went in there, I believe, as a rookie. It went to Tampa and beat Tom Brady. So he's played some big games.
Well, I mean, Kenny Pickett beat Tom Brady the way Aidan O'Connell beat Kansas City. You know what I mean? Like, Pickett played like shit in that game. But to your point, I think Kenny Pickett is way more like Geno Smith than Aidan O'Connell, which
Very
is again
similar.
What are the two things that we want in our QB2? Healthy and be a poor man's version of the starter, so you can just put him in and go, right?
You don't lose any of the nuance of the playbook by putting in Kenny Pickett, as opposed to putting in Aidan O'Connell, where you can't run the RPOs, you can't run the bootlegs, you can't run the rollouts, you can't do any of that stuff with Aidan O'Connell because he just simply can't do it.
Kenny Pickett can do the rollout, flick the wrist, and hit a 25-yarder. Like, he can do and he can run, right? My favorite Kenny Pickett play was in Pittsburgh, college Pittsburgh, when he faked the slide. Remember that? They literally changed the rule. He faked the slide, and everyone kind of all the defenders kind of pulled up, and then he just didn't slide and kept running for a touchdown. Shit like that is stuff Kenny Pickett and Geno Smith are kind of similar. Kenny Pickett not good. He's a backup, but he just fits He's just a poor man's Geno Smith, which is.
I'm not going to say Kenny Pickett is not good. He's just not as consistent. You don't want to have a bad backup. That's the thing. That's not anything to write home about. Kenny Pickett is a good football player. He's just not the caliber of a consistent week-to-week starter in the NFL.
He's had his moments. Total package, though, he's I think there's more down than up. But again, Geno Smith's been healthy. But he's 35 and is willing to run. You don't ever want to see Kenny Pickett hit the field. That's what we're trying to say. But if you do, that's our backup. Running backs, again, alphabetical order. 4, Ashton Gentry, Dylan Labe, Raheem Mostert, Zamir White. Labe made it. A little bit of a surprise. Didn't make the 53. Didn't make the 53 last year. Made it this year, obviously because of his special teams. Any surprises here?
Didn't he? I thought he made the 53 last year. I mean,
he suited randomly. He wasn't on the initial 53.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, he showed enough. He showed enough in preseason, and he showed enough in special teams. He showed a lot better as far as running the ball, catching the ball, and especially in special teams. So, Zamir McCormick, that he didn't take advantage of his opportunity, unfortunately.
Zamir McCormick, little bit of a surprise. He's a much better runner than Dylan Labe, but he's just so limited. No special teams addition. Doesn't
not a good receiver. Not a good receiver.
Doesn't block that well.
Guy.
Good runner. But
that's it.
I think it's less McCormick looked bad. I think it's more Zamir White stepped up. I mean, Zeus looked way better this preseason than he had outside of those 4 games his rookie year when he played a little bit. Outside of that, I think Zamir White looked way better, and he just passed McCormick up. I think Zamir McCormick is still the same guy, but I think Zeus stepped up a little bit.
No, Zeus has better skill set. He's a little bit faster. He's bigger. I think the big turning point for him was against the Niners, I believe. No, was it the Cardinals? The last game when he picked up 3 first downs on 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 4, stuff like that. He was able to pick up first downs and move the chains. That's big because that's what he's going to be asked to do, short yardage stuff. So I believe he's a better blocker as far as protecting the quarterback than Zamir McCormick is. So he can. They're going to have similar roles, and Zamir White just does it better.
Also, I like that you brought up roles because these are 4 very different running backs, and so I think they're trying to be okay, obviously Ashton Jeanty's going to be the bell cow, but they're like, okay, let's set up some situations to get him a little bit of rest here and there because he runs so hard. And each one of these guys is all kind of similar, right? So like that's kind of why I see Labe on here because I think Zamir White and Sincere McCormick are both better running backs in general than Dylan Labe, but Labe does something different.
Why are you calling him Labe?
When have I ever pronounced names correctly? We haven't even gotten to the defensive tackles yet. When I get to pegging.
Jesus.
Anything else, Remax?
No, we're good.
Wide receivers. This is kind of a fun bunch. A little bit of a motley crew, if you will. Jack Betch, second round pick. Amari Cooper, Jacobi Meyers, both practicing today. That had to be awkward. Dante Thornton, Trey Tucker, pair of rookies, 2 veterans, and a third year. Trey's third year, right? Third year player.
Mm-hmm.
Just 5 wide receivers.
Yeah, I think we kind of expected that with the tight ends that we have. I think we kind of expected being able to do a little bit of a roster manipulation by only keeping 5 wides.
Yeah, I think we'll get to the tight ends next. I think with them getting so many receptions and with our running backs hopefully getting a lot of receptions, it's like, do you really need 6, 7 wide receivers? And who are those? Like, you don't need depth when you've got 2 rookies that need a lot of reps and a Trey Tucker who you're still trying to figure out who he is and you want to get him a lot of reps. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'd rather, we'll get to the Amari Cooper signing as we go along, but fuck it, we can get to it now. I don't like it, man. Like, you're getting a 1-year deal out of Amari Cooper, and all he's going to do is take touches away and targets away from the 2 rookies that you're trying to figure out what you're doing. I don't like it.
Well, you have what's your alternative to bring in a guy? I mean, you're still trying to make that balance between bringing the younger guys along and trying to win. So I think Amari Cooper was a cheap way to be able to add somebody who knows the pro game, who can contribute right away. And it's not all about developing for the future. You won't last in the NFL just developing for the future. You have to be able to have a mix of that. And I think Amari Cooper is a guy that can come in and, he can contribute and, play a good role for us.
I like having a veteran in rooms. I always want there to be at least one, but that was Jacobi Meyers. And that's kind of what I've been saying this whole time. Like, why do I want a veteran corner? For that reason. Give us 1 veteran corner for the young guys. Give us 1 veteran linebacker for the young guys, et cetera, et cetera. And we had it with Jacobi. So Amari, I would much rather the touches go to Thornton, Betch, and Tucker. And again, I still firmly believe, and I think Spytek is truly believing and purposely making this year, not a punt year, but looking forward to the future, the next season, as opposed to pushing all the chips in now.
Well, I agree, but I don't know that signing Amari Cooper to a $3.5-4 million deal 1 year is necessarily pushing all your chips in. You're hedging your bets a little bit because Besh, Thornton haven't played a game in the NFL against consistently number ones. Mm-hmm. Tucker hasn't shown you he's a consistent enough guy to be able to rely on. You have to have somebody out there that you can rely on, that going into the season that has played against number ones. And I don't know, man. It's really easy to say I would rather play younger guys when it's not your job on the line. And you want to try to win now too. I think it's a good mix.
I think everyone's very forgiving in this first season with the defense as bad as it is. New owner, new head coach, new OC, new quarterback, new starting running back, just new faces everywhere, installing a new system. I'd rather just you build your core moving forward. And to your point, Amari Cooper doesn't nuke.
Well, they're doing that. They're doing that. But the thing is Jack Besh is nowhere near where he's going to be towards the end of the season. Neither is Dante Thornton. These guys are going to grow as they move along, but you can't throw too much at them right away because you can hurt their confidence. You can hurt the confidence of the quarterback in them. You can hurt the confidence of coaches in these players. You have to be able to let them do what they can and help and build them up that way. And in the meantime, you have other guys that can do the other things.
Yeah, I'd still rather the rookies do that. I don't think Amari Cooper adds enough where it's more than their value.
Bro, you're stubborn as fuck, dude. You are so goddamn stubborn. It makes zero sense what you're saying right now.
What are you talking about? Not wanting your rookies to get more touches and targets and playing time and catches makes no sense.
I just outlined it for you, and you're just so stuck in your own head of being right. It's ridiculous.
What's in your panties today? This is something I've been saying for all offseason.
This is
all offseason. I've been saying
this. Asinine what you're saying right now. You'd rather throw unproven guys that haven't shown you they can do these things. You'd rather
in a developmental year when you're installing everything.
It's not a developmental year. Again, you're saying it's very easy to say it's a developmental year when your job is not on the line. When you have to look at these guys, these veteran guys' face and say, you know what, guys, play your best, but we're not really expecting to win this year. No, dude, that's not the case. It's not how the NFL works.
No, coaches don't say that, and GMs don't say that. You don't say it out loud, but you do it, and you got to read between the lines. And when you have the sixth most cap space in football, clearly you're saving it for something, not this season. Again, Cooper doesn't nuke the development of Betch and Thornton and Tucker, right? It's not the end of the world. He's not going to these guys aren't going to get zero development because Cooper's there. It's not the end of the world. But to my point, and when I've been very consistent all off season, it's like, give me one veteran in each room, and I'd rather the younger guys develop. And the other thing with Cooper is he'll probably get hurt. Tight ends, best tight end room in football.
We'll see what Mayer does. But ultimately, I think Mayer's going to take the role of what Brock did last season, the more possession type guy. So Brock can be a little bit more deeper down the field. Brock wasn't allowed to do that. He just couldn't. There wasn't enough out there. There wasn't enough on the offense to allow him to go out there and be deeper. He was the guy that had to go and run the short routes. That's why he didn't have a very good, yards per reception last season, because teams were packing it in on us. We couldn't run the ball. So now that we can and we have more weapons on the outside, I think Mayer can play that role while Bowers can be up down the seams and the sidelines. So I think it's too early to say the best.
I think it's exactly what we've been talking about. I think Michael Mayer's the one lined up in a 3-point stance next to a tackle consistently, and Brock is just fucking driving defensive coordinators nuts, right? Line him as the X, put him in the backfield, wherever, slot, right? I think that's kind of what it is. Then Ian Thomas, fantastic number 3. For a number 3 tight end, he's great.
As long as he catches the ball. He had a little dropsies earlier in the preseason.
And he's and none of these guys are really great blockers. Mayer's probably the best. I guess that's the one thing, is you're not getting a lot of great blocking.
Ian Thomas was pretty much a blocking tight end with Carolina. He didn't really go out. He didn't really catch too many passes. He was their second stringer last season, and he wasn't really catching any balls. He was out there blocking.
Offensive linemen, I may have to zoom out because we got a lot of them. Nope, just enough. Right? Kappa, Glaze, Grant, Meredith, Miller, Mumford, Parnham, Putnam, Powers, Johnson, and Rogers.
Well, Thayer's gone.
Yes. Is this? I guess it's a day old.
It's not updated.
Updated's up. Yeah. Mumford
Stone Forsyth.
Stone Forsyth. That's a great lineman name.
It's a great name, dude. He was drafted by Pete in Seattle, so they have a lot of familiarity there. So yeah, Mumford is out there to be had. Hey, did you hear that Brandon Parker is the starting right tackle with the Falcons?
Oh, really?
I guess the right tackle got hurt, and he's just the odd man out to be put in there.
Even Brandon Parker has to be shitting his pants when they found that out. You're like, wait a minute.
He's like, well,
I'm Brandon Parker, right?
I heard that name. I was just randomly listening. You know how they have they bounce around and they talk about different teams, and they said Brandon Parker. I'm like, what? Brandon Parker? All right, good for him. Man. He's still in the league.
Hunter Renfrow didn't make Carolina. He didn't make the team or practice squad. No. Damon Arnette made the practice squad.
Houston
made a practice squad. Yeah, he made a practice squad somewhere. Fuck, where was it?
I don't know if it was Houston. Houston released him. I think he got. I don't know. I don't really keep up with those guys.
Yeah, but the X-Raiders always pop up on my timeline all the time. You're like, oh shit, what's that guy? It's like seeing like high school girlfriends on Facebook. Like, oh shit.
Can this calm people down, please? I just get so annoyed when people are like, the sky is falling because we didn't sign Hunter freaking Renfrow. Like, I'm a fan of his, but he was very sick for a lot of years. He's trying to make a comeback. It's like, yeah, we're trying to win here, people. We're not trying to have like the best stories before game day on ESPN.
I mean, I haven't heard a lot of people like pissed we didn't sign him. I think it's just a lot of like heartstring tugging. You're like, oh, the little bald guy that could. We have a Hunter Renfrow on steroids. And his name's Brock Bowers. He's basically Hunter Renfrow, but like a grown ass man. We're fine. 10 offensive linemen. That's one or two more than most teams keep. But I guess it's still kind of getting worked out. We'll make it up in volume.
I mean, I understand why Caleb Rogers and Charles Grant are on the team, because you can't try to put them on the practice squad. They have too much upside to get through waivers. This is not going to happen. You have to put them on there. Kappa is a guy that they like very much. I don't know whether he has a sex tape on Spytek or something, why he's still kept around. Even when he did play, he didn't play really well, I didn't think. But maybe they like his leadership or something. I heard Spytek talk really, really highly of Putnam. They really do not like Jackson Powers Johnson at center whatsoever. Putnam is there specifically to be the backup center, because there's no confidence whatsoever in Jackson Powers Johnson at center. That's the only reason Putnam made the squad. If Jackson Powers Johnson showed a little bit at center, Putnam would have made it.
They must have been asking for something very different this season, last season, because he played great at center last season.
Oh, I wouldn't say he played great. He also was the most penalized center in the team last season.
Well, yeah, when it wasn't costing us 10 yards, he was wrecking fools.
Yeah, that's not going to run. That's not going to work with Pete. He doesn't roll with that.
I guess they just want him to just hunt, right? Just be guard.
Just do what you do best. What was I saying about the receivers? Just have them do what they do best, and then if they grow, great. They can do more. But you're not gonna win games having a bunch of people out there learning as they go. Like, you have to first give them confidence and help the team by just being asked to do what you do well. Just do that, and then during practice and stuff, we'll get you teaching more and more as you go along. That's really smart coaching. There is, you're putting people in positions where they're going to be able to be successful. You're not trying to ask them to do too many different things that they have shown you they struggle with. As far as the lineup goes, Thayer Mumford's out. He's gone. I don't think he's going to come back. Stone Forsythe was signed from the waivers from the Seahawks. And also, I don't know, did we talk about Aidan O'Connell being put on IR?
Well, he's not on IR, but that's
he is on IR.
Question. No, well, he's on the active 53.
No, I just watched the press conference earlier today. They put him on
just
IR.
Moved it?
Yeah. Okay. So the four moves. So the 2 ins and 2 outs were, what is his name? Brennan Jackson, the defensive end from the Rams. We signed him off of waivers, and in that move, we put Aidan O'Connell on the IR. Then we signed Stone Forsythe and put Thayer Mumford on the IR. Oh, we waived Thayer Mumford, excuse me.
I wonder why they waited so long to put Farva on IR.
I think it's the designation. It's got to be some type of designation thing. He kind of explained it a little, and Spytek hinted a little bit about the different. It was basically a maneuver thing. It's like, if you do it at a certain time, if you do it after you kind of declare your 53, it's a different designation as if before or something like that. But that's what happened. I mean, we knew he's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. He had surgery, so he wasn't going to be on the 53-man roster. They were going to do something with him. He's a placeholder. And I thought Putnam was a placeholder too, but I mean, I guess it was Thayer Mumford. I
think maybe I don't know if and I don't pretend to know all this part of it, but maybe it was like before they put him on IR, it'd be easier to trade him if they maybe they waited a day to see if they can get some trade value for him before IR. I don't know if that's a thing.
Can you trade a player who's basically gone? He went through surgery yesterday, so I don't know. I don't think they had any illusion that he was going to be traded.
I mean, you can get like, a 6th versus 7th conditional, something like that. I mean, they just gave a 5th for Kenny Pickett. I mean, quarterbacks are just so valuable.
But he's healthy.
I don't know why they waited a day to put him on IR.
Well, I mean, I'm telling you,
Lonnie Johnson on right away.
Spytek said it was like a designation thing where you're only allowed so many at certain times, and if you put him on the IR after he's on the 53-man roster, it's designated differently or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. I'm sure he knows, of course. That's his job to know. But he didn't go into detail. He just said that it's the designation and you could do things at certain times or whatever.
Okay. On to the defense. D linemen. Again, big group here. Let's see if I can make sure it all fits.
Yep.
Bam. Booker, Butler, Crosby, Fotu, Hemingway, Kuntz, Ole, Pegging, Snowden, and Wilson. Great defensive ends, defensive tackle, ironically thin, the fattest position in football.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of bodies. They're going to rotate a lot of bodies in there. I think Lecky Fotu is the only true nose that we have. Mm-hmm. He's like 6'6", 330. Huge, massive dude. He's a space eater. He's not really that much of a pass rusher. The other guys on here are all
the gap speedsters.
Yeah, they're just gap splitters. That's what they are. I think Tonka's going to play a pretty nice role. He's shown that he can get back in the backfield. If you watch their the college tape, I did a breakdown of all the rookies, so both Pegues and Hemingway, and they're very similar. They're built short with long arms, and they're disruptors. They're not going to beat linemen clean. They're not going to take on 2 blocks and stuff like that, but they're going to knife through and they're going to get into the backfield and make things difficult. They may not always get the hits on the quarterback or the sacks, but they're going to get pressures. They're going to make things difficult back there. And they disrupt. That's how they disrupt the running game. Is they just knife back there.
Linebackers 6 again, kind of girthy here. Adams, Eikenberg, Lindenberg, Pratt, Roberts, White.
I'm flabbergasted why Tommy Eikenberg is still on this team. He was like the defensive Thayer Munford. Like he was bad. Getting trucked on the goal line, running into blocks, getting stuck on blocks, bad angles, missed tackles. People want to point to, oh, well, he had all these tackles. Well, yeah, because he played almost the entire game. He was the only player out there in the first quarter and in the fourth quarter in most of these games. So I said it after the season. Last season, he didn't really show much as far as being able to put himself in positions to make plays. He hadn't shown any different. It's not like he got magically better as the game went along, going against 2s and 3s. It's just the instinct thing is not there, and he's not fast enough to be able to make up for that. I think Cody Lindenberg showed a lot more promise at linebacker than Tommy Eikenberg did.
Biggest surprise, I would say, is Eikenberg. Maybe they're just like all these other dudes are kind of like more like outside guys, and he's like the closest thing to an inside they can develop. I mean, I'm grasping at straws here because I'm with you.
I mean, Lindenberg played all 3 spots in college, so he can play all 3. He was a captain, and he was a middle linebacker. And then he only went outside because of injury. Lennon Roberts is a true inside backer. And that's where Pratt played.
Just a sweet name. Tommy Eikenberg. It just looks great.
I just don't get it, man. He might be another placeholder. You never know. I think that Lindenberg showed a lot in the last game especially. And he may have been a guy that didn't think that we're going to be able to sneak through waivers. So, I mean, Eikenberg, I don't know, man. I buried him enough in my watch parties. It just every time there was a really bad play up the middle of the field, it was Eikenberg missing it or getting blocked into something.
Yeah, that's the biggest head scratcher. Corners. This is where things get kind of dicey. Holmes, Kelly, Porter, Richardson, Stokes. Kelly was making a run to be one of the starters. We shall see.
This is going to be tough, man.
It's going to be
because Kelly's got
tough room.
If Kelly was healthy, he's got a little bit of a hamstring. He probably will be fine for week 1. More than likely, he'll be fine for week 1. But DCAM looked rough. Stokes looked fine. I'm fine with Stokes. Porter looked a little rough against the run. He's missing some assignments mentally. Darnay Holmes is who he is. That's kind of a head scratcher for me. I don't know. I mean, Greedy Vance is on the practice squad. He made it. But I thought Greedy Vance showed much more than Darnay Holmes. Maybe Darnay Holmes is another placeholder. Who knows?
It really blows my name is the reason why Tommy Eikenberg got on the team when Greedy Vance didn't in a smaller room. Because that's a cool fucking name, especially for a corner.
I don't know that anyone can say that Darnay Holmes outplayed Greedy Vance, especially in the preseason. Practice, we don't know, but ultimately, I don't think if someone can be a great practice player but then suck in the games, what good does that do you? So I don't know, man. We'll see. I think that maybe Darnay Holmes might be a placeholder, but I just don't see it.
And enjoy a small signing bonus, Darnay, because I don't know how long you're going to be getting game checks. Safeties, pretty decent set of starters, and then we'll see where we go here. Chin, Harper, Polamalu, and Smith. Again, depth, an issue. But I like Chin and Polamalu as their starters.
I like Chin and Polamalu. Polamalu seemed to kind of clean things up recently against the run. Chris Smith looked great against the Niners and against the Cardinals. So I think his second half against the Cardinals really solidified him being a guy that can be counted on. He made a touchdown saving tackle. That's one-on-one tackle on the open field. Guy caught the ball on the 5-yard line, tackled him on the 3. He would have waltzed in if he didn't get that tackle. So that was great work by him. Also shows something on special teams. Thomas Harper, another placeholder. I mean, I don't know that
he was hurt half the preseason. Like
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get why Edmonds. Maybe they're not. Edmonds hasn't got up to speed mentally with the plays in time, but he's on the practice squad, so he's probably going to be a guy that they can bring up from the practice squad. I just don't see how Thomas Harper can help if anyone goes down. He's not a bad player, but I really thought that we had other guys, like there's Clark out there, I believe, and I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe they're kind of keeping a spot warm for Lonnie Johnson. Maybe they found out that his injury isn't as bad as they thought. He's going to be closer to the 6, maybe even a little bit less. Gone from that fractured tibia, but I know that they were really bummed about Lonnie Johnson not being able to be ready to be playing initially because he was going to play a big role. But I just don't see Thomas Harper being in. I don't get it.
Even when he was playing, it wasn't great, and he was injured half the preseason. It's like second most shocking. At least Eikenberg was healthy, right? Like at least he's like a body.
Harper, he was out there to show you he was no good,
right? Harper, you're out there, and then you're not even available. It's like
Kappa. Kappa wasn't available, and when he did play, he didn't play really well. So it's like, what is he showing you? I don't get it. I don't understand. I really don't.
And arguably the greatest kicking battery in football. Really good, really fucking good football right here. This is beautiful.
Yeah, not much to say here.
The only thing saving our defense, 58-yard punts from AJ Cole. So there's our roster. Great tight end room, massive improvements at, I would say a really good running back room. Obviously, a massive improvement at quarterback. Some youth additions with some potential all around, but depth is a major issue, and this defense, not great, man. Unless this defensive line, just Malcolm Kuntz is even better than we thought. Max Crosby didn't miss a beat from after his injury. 1 or 2 defensive tackles have the season of their career so far. I don't know. It's gonna be a rough defense. Patrick Graham's got his work cut out for him.
Here's a saving grace. Okay. Our secondary was just absolutely dreadful. They were one of the worst secondaries in 5 years. They were bad. They were really, really, really bad. That's how they played. Regardless of who you like, this person or that person, whatever those players do individually and on different teams this season, throw that out the window. That doesn't matter because they're playing with much better players and they're asked to play a different role. I call that the Mark Madsen effect. Who is Mark Madsen? Mark Madsen was a try-hard defensive-only white dude with no real athletic ability to speak of, but he played hard defense and he played really hard and fast, and he was the kind of like the junk guy on the Lakers in the first three-peat. He played with a lot of superstar players. He wasn't asked to do too much. Get out there and get rebounds and play defense. That's who you're going to be. Just
my uncle said it best. Mark Madsen ran so Shaq could walk. He would be the hustle. He would hustle so Shaq can move his 300-pound ass down there at his own speed.
When he finally left the Lakers, he went to Minnesota, and he was like one of the worst players in the NBA because they were asking him to do too much. So these players that you see from our team on our secondary, if they do well in other places, no, it's partially because of that, because that collection of players in the secondary was dreadful. The worst, again, PFF, take it for what you will, but if you're the worst in 5 years, there hasn't been a coverage score that low for a secondary group since 2023, I believe it was, or 2022. It was that bad. So just remember, this secondary doesn't look great, but the secondary last season, maybe there were names that you knew and you were trusting and all that stuff. They were still really bad.
Well, that's exactly my point. This could be worse, right? Like as bad as our DBs were last season, and we weren't going to pay them.
It can always be worse, but
these,
I mean, how
these
much
DBs
worse?
On paper could be worse.
It was already bad.
Scary.
At least these guys can do what they're asking them to do.
Let's hope so, right? And also last season there was a lot of like bad luck. Again, bad squad, full stop. But there was two major things that are pretty super random that were way against us. And we talked about it last week, right? The inability to recover fumbles. It gets just like mathematically almost impossible to be as bad at picking up fumbles as the Raiders were last season. And then injury troubles, right? So that's the saving grace of our defense, is that two things that we were crazy randomly outliers for last season has to regress to the mean this season. Like there's no way we can, like, knock on wood. I feel like I'm jinxing us, but like our injury luck on our defense last season was so bad that should regress to the mean, and we should be average health. And our fumble recoveries and turnover ratio should again regress to the mean this season. Like that's kind of the saving grace, because bodies wise, it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough.
It can get dicey.
Practice squad. Everyone made it through waivers. Everyone that we released, every single one of them. Practice squad, all 17 players here. Only no Carter and no Malott, which kind of surprised me. Other than that, I think it's kind of more or less what we thought. Any surprises? Any notes, comments, questions, blow-ups, pissed offs? You threw your beer through the window. You were so upset.
No, nothing like that. I think this is pretty industry standard for what we thought was going to happen.
I want to be so into football that I get so pissed I throw a beer at my TV because of a practice squad issue. I want to be that diehard.
Yeah, I'm very pleased. Lucky Tassi making it to waivers is now like guaranteeing he stays on the team. Because if an IPP player makes your practice squad, they can't be taken off your practice squad. They're on your practice squad, and that's it. So that's a great thing for us and for Lucky Tassi's development. I know that a lot of people were like, "Oh, why'd you put him on wait?" Well, if you sign somebody's a player from another team off of the waiver, they have to go onto your 53. So it's not like you can stash them and that. So
no IPP player has ever been claimed on waivers. This was
I think because of that. I think because of that reason, it's very difficult to keep because they're normally developmental guys, or else they would have played college football somewhere. So you take a look at that scenario, and it's just, again, these guys are trying to win now. It's great. Developing guys is great, but it's got to be more of a balance than just getting a bunch of developmental guys.
Yeah. So non-developmental guys, back to the 53, Jacobi Meyers and Amari Cooper practicing today.
Amari Cooper practiced yesterday. He flew yesterday. Your sound's gone. It's back now. I think because you were playing the video, I think there was some sound there. So Amari Cooper flew in from Dallas, signed his contract, and practiced that day.
Yeah.
Or took his physical, passed his physical, and practiced that day.
He's moving. Interesting, right? How the Jacobi Meyers news, and then literally the next day, the Amari Cooper signing. I think I think a lot of people were connecting those dots. Like, oh, Jacobi, you're going to ask for something? Well, we're going to do this. Jacobi has been brewing with Jacobi since May. Like, he was at least May, probably longer. Like, he was asked about it at a presser in May. He's like, well, it's for the guys in the higher ups to figure out. It's for upstairs, blah, 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 blah. And the Raiders have had their eye on Cooper, is kind of following him this whole time.
They were talking to Cooper for quite some time.
So it's not,
we have to understand something, guys.
Circumstantial connection.
Yeah. It's not as simple as picking up the phone and be like, hey man, you want to be a Raider? Cool. Sign this contract. It doesn't work that way. Not with a guy like Amari Cooper. Maybe if it's like a guy off the street who hasn't played, or a free agent or something like that, like an undrafted free agent, maybe it could happen. When a guy like Amari Cooper, it doesn't work that way. There's too many things and his contract is kind of complicated. He has a lot of incentives built into the contract for different things, so it can be worth up to, I think, $6 million. 3.5, I think, is what he's getting paid. It can be worth up to 6. So I mean, it was something that definitely was worked on for quite some time.
So yeah, I think it's more circumstantial that they're kind of connected in the timing this way. But they're inevitably linked now with Jacobi Meyers saying he wants to be traded. He's obviously not sitting out, right? He's practicing. The Raiders made it pretty clear, at least publicly, they don't want to trade, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We haven't had a chance to talk about Jacobi yet. He may never have a season like he did last season. It was his best season of his career, and we like to assume that he'll have better seasons in the future, but not likely. And so his agent's no dummy, and he's like, now's the time for us to cash in. There's 1 year left on his deal. They're like, okay, this is time to cash in. And I don't think the Raiders had plans of extending Jacobi. I mean, they drafted 3 wide receivers and used the 2nd round pick on a guy that's basically Jacobi's style in Jack Besh. So Jacobi read the writing on the wall. The Raiders saw the writing on the wall, wrote some of the writing on the wall, and now it's coming to a head in this situation. So I get what Jacobi's doing, and I think the Raiders kind of showed their cards with how they drafted and not extending Jacobi when he wanted one.
Yeah, that was the last play that they had to be able to do something before the season. Now, if some of these guys get up to a rougher start and Jacobi gets a lot more looks and a lot more stats early in the season, it would be best if the Raiders were to extend him at that time and not wait for it to get worse as the season moves along. But as of right now, if you're John Spytek, you phone Jacobi Meyers people and say, we got your request and your request denied. We're not trading you. You're a part of the team. Just keep playing and we'll keep in contact. That's the best thing you can do, is just keep the lines open and keep in contact. But with a guy like Thornton, who's been getting the attention that he's been getting from secondaries, with a guy like Besh, who's kind of coming into his own, with the emergence of Tucker, with signing Cooper, Brock Bowers, and Michael Mayer, and Gentry all being pass catchers, he's not going to get the volume he got last season. He's just not. It's not going to happen. So I think it was the last Hail Mary move by Jacobi Meyers and his people to try to get a contract done. He's more valuable to the Raiders than anybody else, and they're not going to sign him to a big contract. So I don't think he's going to get a big contract anywhere else.
With Amari Cooper, the Las Vegas Review Journal guys, Adam Hill and Vinny Bonsignori on their podcast touched on this earlier this week. I want to share the two things they said because they touched on two different things, but two very interesting things that are much bigger than Amari Cooper. This is Adam. I think every decision should be about 2026 and 2027. This decision to sign Cooper was not about 2026, 2027, it was about 2025. I don't know if you added any wins based on making that move. You did hamstring the development of a couple of your young receivers. I don't think there's much question. I do believe in Jack Betch in his future. I don't think he's ready, and I think Pete Carroll has seen that. He wants another guy out there. Dante Thornton has shown a little bit more flashes, but he's not quite there consistently yet either. So they go and get a guy that you know is a pro, that knows how to make plays at this level, and that's fine. I don't think you made your team significantly better. I think you incrementally improved, and at what cost? There's no way to quantify how much it hamstrings the development. Compared to what Vinny said, he kind of agreed with him. I'm going to say this. This is Vinny Bonsignori. I think this is a Pete Carroll move completely. There was probably a little bit of arm wrestling going on about this one. You have a veteran coach who wants to win right now. Amari Cooper is going to come in, and whether he makes the Raiders better, we're going to find out. So I think this is the sign. Forget the players for a second. I'm interested in the power dynamic going on in the front office. Two veteran reporters made it seem like Pete Carroll got his way over Spytek and signed Amari Cooper. I think this kind of also solidifies Spytek is thinking 2026, 2027. Pete Carroll is always thinking winning the next game. And you're going to, I think more or less they're jiving, but every now and then you're going to butt heads, as any couple always does. Any working relationship, you're not always going to agree 100%. Pete Carroll won this round.
Yeah, I think he convinced, instead of butting heads and all that stuff, I think more so they came to an understanding. Yeah, we don't have, these guys can't do everything we're asking them this position to do right now. They're getting better, but they're not where we need them to be yet. 2 years ago, Cooper had who were the Browns quarterbacks 2 years ago? Exactly.
Jesus.
He had like 75 catches, 1,250 yards, a bunch of touchdowns. He was good. Now, last season, he had an injured wrist. He had a wrist injury. So it wasn't like he just fell off the face of the earth. He was injured. If he can be anywhere near where he was 2 years ago, this is a steal of a signing. I don't know that it's going to hinder the development of any player at the expense of winning now. I think that's more so what, and again, I'm going to say it again because it needs to be said. Adam Hill does not lose any money, and his job is not on the line. Neither is Vinny Bonsignori's if the Raiders don't win. So saying everything has to be for 26-27, no, you don't have to do it that way because teams have shown you that they can win earlier than what they're expected to do. Teams have done that. Windows close quick in the NFL, but they also open really quick. And we talked about ad nauseum what were the 3 or 4 really big deficiencies last season on this team and how we greatly improved those positions. Head coach, offensive coordinator, quarterback, running back. So with all that, we were in a lot of close games last season. So it's to say that we can only focus on 2 years from now. I like Adam a lot. I think he's a great dude. I think he's really smart and I like his work. I think it's really easy to say that when you're not tied, your paycheck is not tied to wins and losses.
Well, I will say, and again, when you get all fired up again, but I don't think Pete Carroll's getting fired no matter the result next season, right? They can go 0-17. I don't think Pete Carroll's getting fired. So I don't think that's an issue. But in fairness, it's also impossible to quantify how much it hampers, if any, the young receivers by having Amari Cooper there, right, to your defense. And also, maybe they get, 10 less targets this season because Amari's there, but maybe they get 20% smarter picking a veteran like Amari Cooper's brain, right? So
there's a lot of stuff. If you want to go down that road,
it's not. Yeah, you're not nuking my situation, right? Like to your point, you're not nuking it. But I also don't think Amari Cooper gets us one more win or one more loss. But I also don't think he nukes my concern either. It's one wide receiver.
Okay, so what's 80% of 75 catches? 7.5, 60 catches?
Hey, right? Siri, what's 80% of 75?
80% times 75 is 60.
60.
That's what I said, 60 catches, right? So what's 80% of 1,250 yards?
Hey, Siri, what's 80% of 1,250?
The answer is 1,000.
Remember in elementary school when we were forced to do long division all day, every day for like 4 grades? And like, well, why can't we just use a calculator? Because you're not always going to have a calculator in your pocket.
Yeah, it's 1,000.
Fuck you, Mrs. Lynch. I do.
You wouldn't take 60 catches and 1,000 yards out of Amari Cooper? That's 80% of who he was when he was last healthy. He wasn't healthy last year.
If he's 80, right? If he doesn't get hurt again, because he's been getting hurt.
I mean, he was hurt last year. 2 years ago, he wasn't hurt. He was fine. He got hurt last year. And now and all it takes to turn that narrative around, if someone's injury prone, is to play a full season or somewhat full season. I just don't see the hate of signing Amari Cooper. I think that it's too much pie in the sky that these two guys are going to develop into some game breakers in 26, 27. There's no guarantee that's going to happen either. Pete Carroll said this from the very beginning.
It's most likely not going to happen. Rookie wide receivers almost never explode.
Exactly.
That's why the Puka Nacua thing is so huge.
But look from this perspective. Pete Carroll has said, I'm not afraid to play young players, whether they're freshmen in college or they're rookies in the NFL. He wants to play young players, but he'll only play those young players if he can put them in a position to be successful. He's not going to ask them to do what they can't do or what they don't do. Forget that, not what they can't do. He's not going to ask them to do anything that they don't do well. So it's even a step further. Even if they can do something but they don't do it well, they're not going to be asked to do that. That's how Pete Carroll brings along players slowly. And he has a record over the last 20 years of playing young guys and getting them to be successful later on and growing in that season. And this is how it happens. You can't do that if you only have 2 wide receivers out there and their names are Jacobi Meyers and Trey Tucker. You got to have more guys.
Well, time will tell, right? We'll find out this season if, Amari Cooper just like had an injury and now he's healed and better, or he's 31 and the wheels are starting to fall off, right? We'll find that out. But to keep you happy, right? You're getting all fired up. You didn't want to participate in my calculator joke. You moved on. So I'll say this.
I didn't even hear it.
I'll say this to keep you happy. Remember the problem when Cooper was here with Gruden and they just like didn't jive? Gruden's like, in your face, hard nose, my way, the highway. And Cooper's like, I need like a booster program to like keep my emotions raised. And then he went to Dallas and they literally started a chess club just to make Amari Cooper feel at home, right? Like the shit Gruden would never do.
They actually started the chess club when they were just in talks with trading. So it was already there when he got there.
Seriously, if he was into like Pokemon cards, the Cowboys would have started
a lot more players are into Pokemon cards than you might think.
Trading club, right? If it was like he was really into BDSM, they would install some whips and chains in a torture chamber in the basement. Or Jerry Jones probably has one of those, a sex dungeon somewhere, and he would have invited.
I'm not going to talk about whips and chains with Jerry Jones. That could have a different meaning.
My point being, Pete Carroll is that kind of guy that'll put his arm around Amari Cooper.
Exactly what I text you.
Tiptoe around the tulips, make you feel good, right? Hey, buddy, I got you. I got your back. You're awesome. You're great, right? That's his style of coaching. And that's something that Amari Cooper has proven to respond well to, is that type of coddling. So if that part of the equation is very much in the favor of us and Amari Cooper, is that, again, on paper, right, it seems like a Pete Carroll, Amari Cooper, that relationship can jive well. If Cooper still has his legs, if it's an injury or wheels are coming off, there's a million other things. But the big thing why Gruden and Cooper didn't work out the first time and he was traded away, that is not an issue this time around, which is no small thing. Not a small thing at all, that relationship.
If you heard the press conference with Amari Cooper, he kind of explained a little bit. He didn't say John Gruden specifically, but he explained a little bit of what happened and where things went south with the Raiders the first time around. He is a guy, and he said himself, he's very hard on himself. And he felt if you're a top 5 pick, which he was a number 4 pick, you're a top 5 pick in the draft, you have to be a game breaker, a game wrecker. And he felt that he wasn't that yet with the Raiders. So he was putting a lot of pressure on himself. On top of that, you get a guy like John Gruden coming in here who is, if he likes you, he's great. If he doesn't, he's a complete asshole. No matter who you are. He's rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And he was a guy that, if you're a guy who's maybe a little bit more sensitive, like Amari Cooper, and I'm not talking about sensitive as it's going to be crying, but a guy who puts a lot of pressure on themselves, then you have a guy like John Gruden who maybe doesn't like you all that much. And let's be honest, he didn't, because he traded him right away. So he didn't like him. He wouldn't have gotten rid of him if he liked him, because he was a good player. It was a personal thing with him. So, that's his thing. And he always said that he had unfinished business. He always felt that in his gut, that he had unfinished business with the Raiders because he loved Raider Nation, and that he was unfortunate that things happened the way it did. But he's back now, and he's looking to make amends for the time gone. So, Godspeed, sir. Hopefully, you do good things this season for us.
So, you know how much we can't wait to see the John Madden movie that's coming out. We've been given updates left and right. But at least we got another Raider movie to keep us going while we're waiting. Nnamdi Asomugha is in The Savant.
Time, dude. He's big time. He's been in quite a few movies.
Look at him. Yes. There he is. Jessica Chastain's no small-time actor. She's fucking awesome. I just don't know if he's going to be playing just the husband, or is he actually going to be able to deliver and do some shit with his acting? I want it to be a breakout role for him.
Yeah, honestly, he's been doing a lot. He was doing a lot of roles in smaller productions, but he's been steadily working since he retired. So grinding. That was like 8 years ago or something like that?
He's been grinding. So he's the husband here. Jessica Chastain's obviously the heroine.
He was a love interest to, what was her name? God, I forget her name. Something Henderson, I forgot. I forgot her name.
Cast is basically like sexy black man for the last half decade. Hopefully he gets a chance to really act, be a breakout role. It's a big movie.
It's not a small production. You can tell there's a lot of it's decent production here. So it's Apple, so it's nothing small. Oh, was that Porn Stash? The guy from Orange is the New Black?
I don't know.
It looked like the guy. Is that John Malkovich? He was in it.
There he is again. There he is.
That's him right there, Porn Stash. He was the guard that was banging all the chicks.
Oh, love
all
scene.
The inmates.
Love scene. We're in a Nnamdi Asomugha love scene. It's gonna be so weird. Jessica Chastain's smoking hot, and Nnamdi Asomugha was our defensive savior for a while. I'm gonna be very confused. I'm gonna be very confused watching.
Good for him, man. Good for him. I'm happy for him.
I hope he gets to act, and I hope it's a breakout role. It's going to be probably the biggest audience he's ever had. Love interest of the main character. Hopefully there's he gets the chance to really crush it. Fingers crossed.
I'm really excited for him. That's a big thing.
That'd be awesome if Nnamdi breakout performance for him. Just fucking crushes it. Ready to do some What Up Windbags?
Yeah, man, let's get it done.
Nizzle Sizzle. Normally I want to do a What Up Windbags this long, but it was a pretty sweet name. Nizzle Sizzle. I don't like and agree with throwing John Gruden under the bus for bad drafting. If you're going to mention the Clay Abram, then you also have to mention Max, Colton, Jacobs, Hunter, Waller. Not saying Gruden was a draft expert, but he did solid. It was an average talent evaluator. Blah, blah, blah. Then he went to talk about Josh McDaniels, how shitty he was. No argument there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Are we being unfair to John Gruden this last half decade, talking about his roster moves?
No.
Not even kind of.
No.
I would go so far as to say we've been the most generous because we have given him, like, look, let's give credit where credit's due. The Waller pickup, signing an extension was phenomenal. Finding Max, finding Hunter, all credit where credit's due. Yep, you nailed a couple for sure. And then everything else.
Every other draft. I mean, look, he was there for how many years and how many draft picks did he get? And you mentioned like 5 guys.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to the others? Look, it's not all drafting because, to be fair and to be completely honest with you guys, everybody that gets drafted can play football. Everybody that gets drafted is a freak athlete. They're like the most athletic person you've ever met, but they're huge and they can play football. Every single guy that gets drafted is a physical freak and they can play the game. A big part of that is how you develop the players. Are you asking them to do what they can do? Are you an implementer? John Gruden is an implementer. He doesn't develop players. He likes players that can do certain things, and he puts them into his system. Remember that. He's not big on developing guys. What he likes to do is get a lot of veterans from around the league and bring them in. He doesn't like playing rookies. He doesn't like it. Okay? So when you got a guy like John Gruden, just remember, it's not about the hits. It's about the misses, and then you see the average. The average was terrible. He had some hits, but his misses were god-awful misses. He pretty much gave away the 2020 draft. It was almost nothing. We got almost nothing from it.
Remember this video we did, Soto? Every John Gruden draft pick and free agent signing. If you get this is like 3 years old, 2 years old. Go back and watch this.
God, good God. I needed a beard back then. I could have been the one who told me.
I'm like, this was the draft classes. Okay, Colt Miller, good. PJ Hall, Brandon Parker, Arden Key, Nick Nelson, Maurice Hurst, Johnny Townsend. None of those guys are doing anything other than Miller.
Look at the 2020 draft. Ruggs, Arnette, Bowden, Edwards, Muse, Simpson, Robertson.
Tanner Muse, a 3rd-round pick in Tanner Muse. He didn't get a call from any other practice squad after the Raiders hit him on injured reserve.
I think he hung on to the Seahawks practice squad for a few weeks, and then he was let go.
He had a cup of coffee in Seattle. A 3rd-round pick. This wasn't a 7th, an unrestricted, a 3rd-round pick. Lynn Bowden didn't do shit.
Let's not even talk to the free agents, bro. Though that's just kicking.
The free agents are even worse.
That's kicking a guy while he's down.
Go back and watch this, guys. If you're still John Gruden wasn't that bad. We go through his top 10 free agent picks, the top 10 most expensive free agent signings.
Let me see what shirt I'm wearing. Am I wearing the Pikachu Raider shirt? Yeah, I am. I don't think I have that shirt anymore.
Look how blurry our screens are. No beards. I look like I'm in my mom's basement. December 28th, 2022. Blast from the past. Yeah, go back and watch that if you think
Go
John
back
Gruden.
And watch that. It'll change your mind. Nizzle sizzle. It'll change your mind about. I think Nizzle sizzle is John Gruden. I think that is John Gruden.
Go back. Well, he's got the spelling and grammar of Gruden. Go back. Here's your homework, Nizzle sizzle. Go watch that video and come back and either apologize or say no, dumbass.
I don't need anything from you, Nizzle sizzle, because I know I'm right.
I do.
Just go and watch it. And if you can actually let new ideas into your head, I'm not saying you can or you can't. I'm not saying that. I'm not calling you dense. But if you can, you'll agree with us because it's not good.
I need an apology. I don't have the self-confidence of Soto. I need to be told I'm right.
Give mine to him then. I don't need it.
2 apologies for me. Double scoop. Philip J. Meade need a mid-season or bye-week show. How will their old players do on other teams? That's always fun. It's always fun to track them, see what's going on.
Different situation, again, the Mark Madsen effect, they're asked to do something different. I don't think any player, Jack Jones barely made the Dolphins roster. I don't think he's starting. He was starting for us. Jacorian Bennett isn't starting for the Eagles. I think maybe Nate Hobbs is the slot corner with the Packers. That's a lateral move.
Merrick's starting, isn't he?
Merrick's starting, but he was the most talented out of the group, but he got paid way too much money. I don't know what the Panthers are doing, giving all this money. But and Epps is still not signed because he's still injured. So it's these guys were all guys that are not going to be asked to do what they were doing with us, except for Merrick.
I think that makes sense for a bye week show. But we promise Philip J. Meade we'll watch it and discuss it, not in a let's make sure we prove ourselves right way, but genuinely and objectively. It's like, okay, how are these guys doing? Was this guy worth the money? Definitely not. Holy shit, was he overpaid? Was this guy worth the money? He's got a great scheme. He's not asked to do the same thing. He's, the quarterback he's going against is under pressure more. It makes sense because, again, it's a brand new regime. Soto, you're much more, you have much more faith in Pete Carroll and Spytek than I do, just because it's brand new. I want to see it. So every move I think is fairly to be scrutinized. Every signing you sign, any player you let go, 6 months later, 3 months later, 2 years later, was it smart or not? We did to Gruden, right? Like we definitely ran Gruden over the coals, rightfully so. We'll do it to anybody. Michael Turner.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I'm good.
Michael Turner, 3761. These guys have Hondo envy. Get that Hondo envy, Soto? Wishing you were Hondo Carpenter?
No, not really. Not especially.
Every day? Wishing you were Hondo? There's nothing lamer than media beefs, and we're not trying to start one by any means. But he had a report that got all of Raider Nation talking, and so we addressed it because you guys were asking about it, and it was brought up. And there's nothing lamer than media beefs. But I will say this: when Hondo Carpenter releases something and says, "Here's a fact. Here's what I heard. Here's a release. Here's a report," you tell me how often it's confirmed. When was the last thing Hondo Carpenter said, okay, this is happening, or that guy will be signed, or this is in the works, and that report was confirmed or extended or anything? The next time we do a show, Soto,
baby,
it will be game week. It will be game week. We will be breaking down not a football-like substance, not a practice, not a draft, not a trade, not an acquisition, not a suspension, not a press conference. We will be talking about and breaking down a National Football League game between the New England Patriots and the Las Vegas Raiders. I can't fucking wait. And until then,
yeah, man, it's here.
Knock on wood if you're with me. Well, look at you making it to the end of this video. You look like you want more. Go ahead and click the next video. And if you really love it, go ahead and subscribe.